friends asking what's the move. Feeling a little different, I'm on something new. Today, I ain't gonna let no clouds get in my way. The only road I'm walking is the one I pick. Catch me sitting in the sun, no time for shade. Today, this is the day that the Lord.
Good morning, everybody. This is Kiki from Living Food. How are you all doing today? Well, if we woke up, that means that God is not finished with us yet. And it's so good to see, how faithful God is. And so I'm excited to share with you today. My co-host is Leonard Luna. And Leonard is a wonderful person with so many wonderful gifts. And I'm going to let him share. Mr. Luna, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm blessed. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I think we're both really already fired up from a prior conversation.
Yes, most definitely.
Oh my God, that was so awesome. But so yes, Leonard. So wow, we've known each other for I don't know, 20, 25 years.
Yes, that
Am I
sounds like
that
it.
old?
Yes, that's what it's. It doesn't seem that long, but yes.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, I did meet you through music,
Yes.
and I've just seen you just wow. I mean, you were amazing back then, but you've just really flourished, and I know you can share more about that, but I know that wow, it wasn't until 2017 that I was able to share a living food with you, and so I really want people to know who you are, and how it has really allowed you to become more vigorous because you do wear many hats, and I don't know, and I've said it many times, anybody that can wear all those hats. I thought I wore many hats, Leonard, but yours is at a whole other level. So, yeah. So, Leonard, just chime in and what are some highlights? First of all, can you share where do you live?
I live in the Inland Empire. I'm in Redlands, California. Born and raised in Colton, and live in Redlands now with my family.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you're not too far. You're pretty in the middle of me and the show, which is in Victorville. So
Yes.
not sure if that's the halfway point or not, but wow. So Leonard, share with me, tell me, why are you on the show? What is it that you want to share about living food? Can you please just share some of your highlights?
Like I said in a prior conversation, we could go on about living food for days at a time, only because it's first of all, it's been a part of my life now, going on 4 years, and every day is a positive experience with it. It's definitely more than anything helped me focus on everything I do. You just said it earlier. I wear many hats, and sometimes we don't wear those hats by choice. We get caught up, and before we know it, we're in the mix. And so it just helps me to get from point A to point B. And when I'm up late at night doing drops or putaways on my forklift, I'm clear. I don't feel like I'm nodding off. I don't lose focus on the computer on where to go. It's just one of those things that doesn't have me jittery, but it keeps me focused, keeps me on point, if that's a good word to use.
Yes. And if you don't mind me asking, you're talking about your night job. You haven't even mentioned your day job.
No, I haven't mentioned my day job yet. Yes, I work campus security for the Riverside Unified School District. And again, we're talking about getting in the mix of things and not realizing I started that job as a sub, as a favor for a friend. And next thing I know I've always liked working with kids. I have 3 grown kids of my own. And next thing I know, I was offered a full-time position and jumped on it. And it's been quite the ride now. I've been there going on 18 years now.
Wow. So you have 2 full-time jobs. Is that what I'm hearing?
You could say 2.5 if you count my music in there as well.
Yes. Wow. So with the school district and the warehouse job, I'm assuming you practice throughout the week and then you have gigs on the weekend or maybe during the week as well.
That's actually the novelty of what I do is
Mm.
I have played with a few artists here and there, and been able to perform at the level of their musicians. And I really don't. I first of all, blessing that I do come from a musical family that's been in the Inland Empire for years. But I'm lucky. I've been told, well, you're one of those guys that practices 4 hours a day. I go, that's not the case. I'm lucky to squeeze in 20 minutes a day in my lunch break, sometimes at the school. And of course, the gigs on the weekend and the studio work keeps me sharp. But I really, I wish I did have more time to practice. And eventually, like I say, I'm nearing a retirement age, and I'm so looking forward to going back to basics and hitting the rehearsal bands at the college, doing things I need to do to better my game, along with what Living Food has offered me, the focus that it's offered me in what I do.
Wow, wow, wow. So I couldn't imagine you've been on it since 2017, the same as me. I mean, it was in May, and I know I was sharing with you. And as a matter of fact, you were not open right away, which, is understandable.
Yes,
And I kept bringing it up, and you kind of changed the subject, changed the subject. Do you remember
I
that?
would. I would. You are absolutely right. And let me tell you, it's one of the best decisions I've made. If I have a few family members that are on it now, and how can I say it? It's just like one thing. My kids are still they're grown up, and my if I can share a little testimony about my eldest son, he trains boxers out of Riverside. He has a gym with three friends out in Riverside, and they train everything from amateurs. They have pro level sparring there. Just a lot going on. But my point being is he wasn't a big fan of school. When he was in school, he now as an adult we have these conversations, and he'll tell me, Dad, I was just lazy.
Mm.
I preferred manual work. And he was in a nursing program for a while to become a nurse. And of course, as a nurse, you take a lot of science classes. He was taking this test, final examination on anatomy, and for someone that doesn't really dig school too much, he was on the product then, and he says, I mean, out of the whole class, I think he was like the number two, if not the number one score on that test. There are so many professionals in the medical field today that they talk about that anatomy exam, that it's really difficult. It's one of the toughest exams you're going to face as you're on your journey to
Mm.
becoming a nurse. And he aced it. And I'm not saying it was because of the product, but I know for a fact every exam he would take, he would. If I'm sure you could probably, if I'm on a line, say he zealed up. I'll leave it
Wow.
at that. I'll leave it at that. And um, just it did a lot of good things for him while he was in school. As we're talking again, the focus. We're
Wow.
talking to the focus. While we are on the subject of focus, can I go into my the bad habit I used to have with coffee?
Oh, please do.
Oh, okay. Well, here we're going into we're going into something I was abusing there for a minute. Again, when I first started working at the warehouse, I was an order puller, which we're put we're working on a standard, time standard. So if you supersede that standard, you're working towards a bonus you get every 3 quarters. And so a lot of us, we are trucking for that 3, 8, 9, $10,000 bonus
Mm.
every 3 months. And
Wow.
so I found myself doing when I was pulling, sometimes two energy drinks, two Coca-Colas, a Snickers bar, a couple of cups of black coffee, extra strong for the machine, and
Wow.
doing this in one shift, getting up the next morning and running to the school to get to work on time. But I would feel crashed. I would feel like, hey, okay, I'm so ready for the weekend to get here so I can sleep in every day. And that was my life for a while. When the product came into my life, I will honestly say, I went from drinking, we're talking about it throughout 24-hour period, drinking 7 to 9 cups of coffee a day, to maybe right now where I'm at, we're talking 2 cups, not a day, 2 cups a week. And that's just to accompany maybe an oatmeal cookie I'll have here and there. But that was a big, really big transition for me. And on the product, one thing I will note, and I want everybody to know about, is I don't crash on this. When my work week is done, usually on Friday afternoon, I'm ready to go perform and do what I do with the music, because I don't feel crashed. I don't feel exhausted. I feel alive. If that's a good word to use, and ready to go for whatever may follow.
Wow. Well, I'm right there with you, Leonard. I'm right there with you. That's why I didn't give up on you and many people, because you have to encounter it. And I'm sad for those that, will not encounter it, because they're truly missing out on thriving, on the focus, on even the better mood. Everything you said. Wow.
You just said it right there. Better mood, and there's something that I've seen on your page that I believe it has to do with happy cells, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, we need to take that to the bank, because and pardon my idiom how I'm using this, but my son, who again trains, he's a trainer. 80% of what we accomplish, not only in the gym but in our careers in life, is with the fuel we put into ourselves. Even your car, the better the fuel you put into it, the longer it's gonna last you. That's a fact.
Yes. Thank you for saying that, because I think we have to really break it down, Leonard, for people to understand the happy cells, happy body, that our
Yes.
body's made of trillions of cells, and the food that we're eating is not nutrition at this cellular level, and living food is. And so
Yes.
I always joke around, do you put lawnmower oil and gas in your car?
Right.
Because if we did, what's going to happen? It's going to break down. So we are that car. And then some just look at me like, wow, I never thought of it like that. So I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I really think it's just opening up mindsets, because we only know what we know. And sometimes we have to really break it down. Cells, cell food, taco, cells. What do you think is going to work? The cell food.
Of course.
It makes common sense. So yeah, that's good. That's good.
And I'm definitely, like I say, I'm blessed as far as my music goes to have experienced many cultures. So one day I will be at a soul food restaurant. The next day I'll be at a Cuban cuisine. Next day, at a barbecue. Because I've played in quite a few of the states you're in our country and abroad. And so with that in mind, I do enjoy to partake in good food. But now, one thing, I'm actually using the product as a and again, hopefully I'm not out of line with this, but I'm using it as my soft drink substitute. I like the taste. It fills in those blanks I know my body's missing nutritionally. And so like if later I have I'm not a big fan of sodas anymore, but if like later I'll have something for lunch, instead of having a soft drink or a glass of punch, I'll go for the product. I go for the product. There's different flavors, so I'll definitely go for the product, and we can always modify it as far as if I do the protein in the morning, I can always maybe add some orange juice to it. I think in the past on Living Foods, I've seen different recipes for like these smoothies, and it becomes not only part of your regimen, but I'm going to say your culinary skills too, because there's a few posts you put up like for an orange cream smoothie, and wow, it actually tastes like an orange cream shake, but you're putting this Living Food product into your body, and you're like, can something this good actually be this good for you? And answer is yes.
Yes, it's a win-win. And you just touched on something right now. I do the same thing. First of all, I was never good at drinking water.
That's
So I'd
true.
always have to have lemon or something, and I still
Mhm.
struggled. So now I will put my living food, and I know it's not only a beverage, but I'm putting more self nutrition in my body. So there's no guilt. It's a craving that's a good craving with great consequences, right? And so you're right, regarding the recipes. I have 5 grandchildren, and I did make recipes, and maybe I'll go back and repost those on Living Food social media.
Okay, Kiki,
But
not to interrupt you, but you just
uh-huh.
touched on something really big right now.
Okay.
You touched on something really big, and you touched on those 5 gems that you have with grandchildren.
Yes.
Okay. Um, and me, I have to touch on my family as well. And it's something. It's like somebody always asks me. I speak 2 languages. So somebody said, if for some reason something happens with one of your jobs or with your career, what would be a plan? I would go into selling maybe cars. That I truly believe in, cars that I would actually sell my mother, that I would actually sell my family, because of the fact that that's, I mean, really no one more sacred than our mothers out there. Um,
Right.
and with that in mind, this is definitely a product I would have given my mother, and I I'm all for it. I'm all for it because it's like you said it earlier. It's a win-win.
Yes. You can't go wrong by drinking this. It's more the doubt, if anything. Don't doubt. Just know that you're putting self in nutrition. And the more you drink it, more testimonies unfold. It took me 4 years to get where I'm at today. But the funny thing, Leonard, is that I have, 50-year-old, 60, 70, and they'll take one drink or two and they say, I don't feel nothing. It's not for me. And I have to say, well, honey, it took you 60 years to get where you're at.
Right.
And they
Right.
just look at me,
Now,
and I said,
now,
give yourself a minute.
with that in mind, with that in mind, uh, when I've shared the product that and we've talked about this before, it took me like three to start feeling three. And I'm not talking about 3 days. I'm talking about maybe 3 drinks, three, three, three smoothies to really start feeling the effects of it. But there have been people that as soon as they drink it, my wife being one, was like on point, dangerously on point with it, and really, I mean, I cannot say enough. I mean,
Hmm.
she uses it still at work to curb. For her, more than anything, it's an energy thing, and for her anxiety, it really helps her out with the anxiety, which is a plague that's really hurting a lot of people these days with things that are going on in the world.
Yes. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because it may help feel less anxious and more positive with more energy and vigor. And this is by
Yes.
nutritional doctor Scott Van Loo, MD. So this is not an experience just for her, but it also is for me. I'm telling you, I was on the edge and I was carrying so much luggage. And then you got the new stuff going on, But for me, it's kept me stable and I feel really good about that. So you're right, because 8 out of 10 do feel something in 20 minutes. And people look at me like, well, how can that be? Because our cells have been deprived of this whole food nutrition that's in one drink.
Right.
Now, Leonard, I'm not sure if you know this, but one drink is 55 plus supplements, and each supplement has more than one benefit. So, really, it's like hundreds of superfoods and antioxidants in one drink. So, why wouldn't our cells recognize cell food at that level of a powerhouse plant based nutrition? And so, when I do my presentations and I do give a sample before I start sharing, 8 out of 10 will raise their hand and say that they feel something different already. So that's amazing. And even the numbers on the feeling less anxious, we do have it on scientific study, and it does say that 7% is better in dejection, which is like a hopelessness, 9% on confusion, 9% on anger, 10% on fatigue, and 11% on anxiety.
Right.
So when I felt on my third day, I had about 4 or 5 encounters of feeling amazing. Um, I called Tanya, who shared the product with me, and I said, Tanya, I do not agree with these numbers. These numbers seem way too low. And she said, Kiki, that is on the healthiest people. What does that say? That it still gets better for the healthiest people. So I'm
Yes.
okay. That made sense because my numbers, percentages were much higher, than that. So this is exciting, Leonard, just to hear that we have a product in the morning that all we have to do is add water and drink it, and that your family is benefiting. That's what it's about. So thank you for sharing that.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I again, you know, we get to the like my music side of this now. Um, there are like times we're in the studio doing a recording and we're having to sight read a piece down, and it definitely when we're having to do this quite a few takes over or whatever the case may be, it really helps us focus too on the sight reading, on the looking at 3 pages of music at one time if we have to. So it's just I cannot say enough about it, because I do wear glasses. I've worn glasses since I was like 6 years old, but now really it just seems to have opened up my peripheral vision, if you would, a little better. And I just
Wow.
that's another one of the benefits I can definitely share.
Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. So if any musician is listening, right, they're definitely going to benefit in,
Most
in their
definitely.
gifts to another level. Wow, that's so awesome. So Leonard, you had mentioned that you play so many places, even like traveling. I know that you travel a lot, and you even play in local churches as well. Do you
Yes.
still play there? Okay. All right.
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm called for a wide array of work. I've done gospel services. I've been called to do bereavement services. I think I actually um, sang. I don't. Again, I'm not a singer. I dabble on it, but I'm a trombone player. But I do believe I sang for your mom on one of her birthdays, if I remember right. Yes,
Oh
I think I
yeah.
did. And
Yes, yes, yes.
that was very nice, seeing the smile, the genuine smile on her face, who, by the way, uses the product as well. And if I can touch on that,
Sure.
I am a big fan of hers. Um, she's in my eyes at that age living the dream, because she is fit, and I know how important it is for you to be there for your grandkids. But when I see her on videos interacting in the backyard playing with those great grandkids,
Isn't that a
wow.
great photo?
Oh, wow. It makes us really look forward to that tomorrow. One of my, if I can touch on an abstract subject again that I think has to do with the product, because of the fact that one of the fortes of this product is getting from point A in life to point B in the most efficient way. And I believe nutrition helps us there, right?
Yes,
Okay. So
yes.
with that in mind, and I don't want to say it's a pride thing, but as we age, one of the things I love my independence, and I really I admire your mother's independence, and I really, it's most imperative for me to be, if taking care of myself at those years. And
Mm,
if this product can help me achieve that goal, again, I mean, it's win-win.
yes.
A good part of it is work from our part, being disciplined in what we do, and I think this you make this part of your regimen, and again, you're you're winning in your quest to achieve that goal.
Yes, yes. I love that. Yesterday, there's a gentleman, he's dealing with health issues. And, he's one that did not feel it right away. And every day he's calling me, I don't feel nothing. I don't feel nothing. And I have to reroute that conversation and go back to look at the scientific study, look at all that you're getting in one drink. What we're eating every day is not what you're getting in living food. Do it just for that. Eventually, your results are going to um, unfold. And I said, try to get off the feeling, but we all want that feeling. We all want to feel what everybody else feels. And I get it. We're human. We want that aha moment. So I really do hope that he continues to drink it because I can already hear the discouragement. And he said, it's not doing nothing. I said, it is doing something. You're just not feeling it. And I go back to my daughter, Joyce, who came to live with me in November 2019. And her joints were not as strong. And we noticed that when the medical doctors were shut down, that I went to cut her toenails and her toes were straighter. They were not overlapping as much. And she didn't feel it. I didn't know. We didn't know. It wasn't until we saw them and had that aha moment to say, wow, look what living food is doing for you. You didn't even know that. So I shared this with this gentleman. And I just say this to say is stop waiting for the feeling. It's going to happen sooner or later. And because it also protects the immune system, you know, protect what you have, right? Protect the health. So
Definitely.
I just want to put that out there because many people say, "Wow, I felt something in 20
And
minutes," but
and you put
either
and
way.
you
Mhm.
put that out there at a good time. Let me tell you why. Because I have a bit of a Joyce testimony too that some of my family has seen. They want to know who that young lady was that was uh, walking with the assistance of a walker. All of a sudden now she's dancing at balance concerts.
Yeah. Oh
You
my
know
God.
that
Yes.
they want to know about that, and so those are PowerPoints that interest people. Anybody that knows who Joyce is and where she was at 3 years ago to see where she's at now, not only physically but in her morale, and in when we see that laugh, when we see her playing with her dog Lola. Wow.
Mhm.
It's that really touches the heart right there, because that testimony is genuine, and it's it's much deeper than what I'm probably allowed to say right now. So I really enjoy
Yes.
what it's done for her.
Yes. And it's because we don't mitigate a cure, there's certain things that, we're just not going to go there. But for sure, it has made her joints and cartilage stronger. She does not need assistance anymore. And that video, which I think I'm going to post for those that want to go back and watch, that
Yeah.
video was so beautiful. And actually, I went there, Leonard, to interview Sammy Medina, who's the lead singer of Balance.
Now we're getting into my neck of the woods there. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I've been playing with Balance now. If I can touch a little bit on that, I've been playing with the Balance band roughly about 6 or 7 years. I've always known about them, and they've known about me. Um, and I went to audition for the band about 7 years ago. They enjoyed what they heard from my part, and so they've kept me around, thank God. And I will say, Sammy. I'm not going to go into details about his age, but I will say, when I get to be his age, I even if I get to be have half that energy, I am going to be a happy camper. That man really he's into his health for many reasons, but he really enjoys performing. And when he goes to a venue and people Sometimes, not all, because everyone in Los Angeles knows who Sammy Medina is. But when he goes to a venue and people, like we've gone up north towards the Bay Area and performed out there, people don't know who he is. And the novelty is that man has the crowd, the audience eating out the palm of his hand. Within an hour, he has won that crowd over and just sings like no other, and performs too. I mean, you have some of these guys that will sing so that their melodies and the timbre of their voice is beautiful, but he has that. But I mean, this guy is giving it his all from the very first note the band plays till the very last note the band closes with. And yes, he does a living food. He bikes every day. He stays on top of his game. Gotta give him credit for that.
Yes, yes. Well, when I went to that park, when you were playing concerts in the park, I did go interview Sammy, and he's high energy. He loves the product. He allowed me to go in and interview him. But that was actually Joyce's first dance
Wow.
ever, and she's 24 years old.
Well,
So,
like I say, I've seen her. I was there to witness that, and also to
yes,
see her get up in the morning and to where a lot of us complain about a minor ache we're having on our foot or whatever. For her to climb that mountain of adversity and get up every morning with that moving forward demeanor, and seeing her going on these power walks with you, that really moves us, that sometimes tend to make excuses for not doing that or including that on our everyday regimen,
yes. Well, Joyce has certainly won the hearts of many. She kind of took over my Facebook page. Matter of fact, she has to say Joyce here. But people have watched her unfold from using assistance and trying to walk and stand. And now, the doctors are like amazed that she's very independent now. So thank you,
Oh,
God, for living food.
definitely. And if you ever need or you or Joyce ever need a publisher to publish that book, because that is another book in the waiting right there. Let me
Yes.
tell you.
Well, only God knows, let's see what he has, next for us. But she's definitely an encourager. When I used to push her in the wheelchair, she would do Faith Fridays. We'd stop and she would put a scripture out there, and little by little, now she's pushing the wheelchair herself. So
Right.
it was a process, but again, it's my recipe: living water for the spirit man and living food for ourselves, our temple is my recipe. And so I finally figured out, wait a minute, that's what's working. It's those two things. And so going back to Sammy, when I went to interview, I didn't think I was going to stay and dance, because I was just going to leave, because I might want to stay all night and start dancing like back in the day. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And so I said, Joyce, you want to dance? And she just looks at me. I go, come on, you can do it. So I met a couple there at the park, and they said, go, go, go. I'll film you guys. So what I loved is that Sammy made her feel special. And I think that's the part where you say how he wins the crowd over. He
Oh,
just
yes.
sang to her. He looked at her, sang to her, and she had the biggest smile as she was dancing. And it was just an aha moment for me. And I have that video, and it has like over 100 hits, and people just like, wow. So, God's going to use her in a mighty way, and just to share not only how brave she is, how she took a step, and stepping out into waters that she never did before, but to share living food,
Definitely.
because this definitely plays a big role. And so I'm so grateful. And I saw you there that day playing, and I didn't get to talk to you much because you were busy playing. But we're just gonna, one musician at a time, Leonard, and share all this goodness, with whoever's open, to listen. And so I see Sammy thriving. And he's told me, Kiki, people ask me, what are you drinking? You
Even
are up there in age,
the
and you're
road boss,
thriving.
the
Hmm.
sound man road boss for Balance, Joe, I believe he takes the product as well. And I know him and Sammy are pretty close to the same age. And let me tell you, if I could be in that kind of shape, and that Joe is as strong as an ox, let me tell you, and just Putting that aside, it's a good portion of that I know is a living food because, you know, this I've been on the road with different acts, with different artists, with the band Malo, with other groups we can put out there. But let me tell you, and we were some of the other musicians I've played with. If we could have Joe on the road with us at all times, this man is all about the band he's working with. He's all about the troop welfare and taking care of his troops, and just putting him in there again because at that age, you think his mind would be on kicking back and fishing and maybe just not really pushing the envelope like that. But he is just has that fire of energy that Sammy has, and a big part of why the Balance family continues to have success today.
You know, if everybody was on the product, it would be at another level.
All across the board.
Yes. Wow. That's beautiful. I'm excited that that everybody's thriving, you know, from the band, and Sammy's one awesome person. Really loved Joyce that day. Took photos with her and everything. So it was an awesome memory for her, and it builds her self-confidence, you know,
Yes.
as well. Wow, those are all great things, Leonard. I want to ask you something. So with all this amazing things that you've experienced, you had another kind of experience a couple weeks ago. Can you
Wow.
share that
Yes.
with me?
Wow. Yeah. I was dodging that one, but yeah, we'll go into that.
Well, I was
Yes.
mainly going into the doctor
Okay.
that you said he was your age, and he was
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
how young you looked.
Yes. Okay. Well, you know, I made a comment just because I did get injured at work doing my job, of course, and had a surgery done on my left knee. With that in mind, he asked me how I was feeling after the surgery, and I told him, well, doc, I actually, these were the exact words I won't use the words he used, but I'm going to use the words I used. And I said, I do feel my age today. And he just like scratched his head, looked at my chart, and said something a little out of bounds, but it was pure love. He said, you blank, he goes, you and I are the same age. And it was a good feeling to hear that still, because, you know, you get to a point where I did have this accident, I had surgery, and really no one feels at the top of their game right after surgery. But for him to say that, it really, you look at those around you that may not take care of their temple as they should, and it makes you feel good that you're doing something right, that you're how can I say, really get, again, like I said earlier, getting from point A to point B with the least amount of stress, which is to me, that's if you go through every day in life and alleviate just a little stress, you're already accomplishing a very a huge what's the word I'm looking for, avenue of approach for your longevity.
Yes. Yes, I love that word, longevity, because we have to think about the future. What we eat today is our tomorrow in our health
Yes.
or our illness, right?
Yes.
And so basically what I'm hearing is that doctor thought that you looked younger than him.
He did.
Because
Yes,
you didn't
indeed.
really say it, so I'm going to say it for you.
Yes, he did. And I mean, I told him straight up from the very first encounter I had with him. He's a ortho specialist, and I told him, you know what, I really, you know, we bonded right away. I told him, I don't really dig your bedside manner, but you're right to the point, and I respect that. I respect that 100%. He knew and knows what he's talking about, and just when I went into surgery with him, it gave me that bit of much bit of confidence in believing what he was about to do to me, and I've since been recovering at a pretty good rate, a very fast rate actually, and looking forward to tomorrow as well.
Wow, I love it. Well, you know, May 2017, I was on my power walk, and you know, I twist my ankle here and there. And that day I broke my fibula, and I thought, I just twisted it. And I just kept going. So I was walking on a broken fibula for like
Oh
an
no.
hour. Yeah. So I made it worse, and I, you know, it was swollen. I'm like, oh, it's gonna go away, but it didn't. So, I find out that I did break it, but I had already started living food. And I think I was at 2 a day. They said, Kiki, start taking 3 a day. And I can honestly say, and I hope this is your case, Leonard, is that it was supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. This is just my testimony without mitigating a cure. It was about maybe between 4 and 6 weeks. So I was a little bit ahead of the game on my healing process.
You know,
So,
the product living food was definitely uh, something that helped in that equation. I'm sure it was, because I'm experiencing that now as we
wow.
speak. Okay. But also the character that it has helped you build up to is another just really, how can I say it's really pushed you forward too, because you have that character that you refuse to be defeated. And when you combine those two together, wow, it's just
Yes.
it's like a rocket launching you up into space. No other feeling like it.
Wow. I love what you're saying, Leonard, because when we get injured and we're used to being on the go, 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 like you are and like I am, and then all of a sudden you cannot, it can mess with your emotions,
Oh, tell me about it.
right?
Tell me about it. Yes, yes.
Wow.
There are ups and downs. And yesterday, I was feeling really exhausted because for the pain they do give you medication. But what I did yesterday was I took a third zeal, if I may, and
Mhm.
I took that with my evening meal, and like the Robert Louis Stevenson poem said, that made all the difference. You know,
Wow.
I was up late last night again, 20 on this meeting we were going to have. I was up watching boxing matches with my son on TV, and I had a nephew come over too. So we're here in the living room watching boxing. It was a play day for our dogs. We have a very high energy mini dachshund that needs to be engaged every day, and so he brought his dog over, and well, they made a play day out of it, and we're up playing very late at night, which the answer to that was let us get a good night's sleep, because the dogs were out for the night.
Yes, so you're gonna play some catch up with family time. It's all good. And then, if it's gonna happen with the mood, then even better, you can enjoy them at the fullest.
Yes.
I love it. Wow. I know we can go on and on, Leonard. Thank you. I really appreciate just, sharing your life with us. And I do want to give out my information. Livingfoodbykiki.com website is under construction. Right now, you can also find me on social media, Living Food by Kiki. And I'm going to give out my phone number. My number is 562 665 5115. So, Leonard, if you just have some last words to musicians or just others that really want to feel better, I'm going to end it with what would be your recommendation?
My recommendation would be give it a couple of weeks. It'll probably be the one of the best things you have done, not only for your health personally, but if you involve your family in it, which is a big part of our who we are. It's a win-win situation for everybody. I'll end it with that it's oh, everyone that's involved with you wins out of this.
Yes, families are even getting along better because of the adaptogenic herbs in there. If you don't know why you feel good, it's the adaptogenic herbs that bring you a natural energy, but yet it gives you a calmness. So there's
Yes,
not as much irritability, which is a good thing. So we can
most
all get
definitely.
along,
Yes.
better. And so awesome. Well, I thank you once again, Leonard Luna, and you made me proud. Thank you so much. And so I'm going to go ahead and end it with this. Everybody have a beautiful, beautiful day. And remember, happy cells, happy body. Bye.